In the beginning, you're just a young thing. Just another young creature of the universe. And you hardly know you're a girl. You're so busy learning to walk and run and ride if there's a horse candy. Or if not, the limb and apple tree. Rejoicing in what you've got and looking forward to what you will have, whether more or less. More than hope. You can't help it. Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents.
It's so dreadful to be poor. It's not fair for some girls to have plenty of pretty things and other girls to have nothing at all.
We have father and mother and each other.
We haven't got father, and we won't have him for a long, long time.
Well, there's a war on, and I think it's splendid of father to go as chaplain, as he's too old to be drafted and not strong enough to soldier. No, I wish I were standing guard outside father's tent this very moment. But I'm not. So be it. You don't have father, but you have me. Father said that I was to take his place, and so what we're going to do, girls, is to make our own kind of Christmas.
I suppose we have to humor her.
Humor me?
You aren't father.
No, but I'm to take his place, he said.
You want to be father because you want to be a boy.
So what if I do?
And you want any excuse to boss us.
Fiddlesticks, you call it bossing, but I know you'll want to do what I have in mind. The play that we've been rehearsing, girls, why don't we present it for Mother?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's almost ready. If you know your lines, Amy, I'd say we're ready.
Well, I do know my line.
All right, we'll have the play then. And that's not all.
I suppose we could act the play, but last year we had oysters and cranberries and plum pudding. This year we have corn pudding with raisins. Raisins, mind you.
Hush, Amy.
That's easy enough for you to say, Meg. You and Joe will be off to parties while I'm all alone.
I won't be.
Nor I.
Why not?
Because I've nothing fit to wear. My white muslin is worn out, and Joe spilled tea on my tarlatan.
Joe spilled tea. Joe spilled tea. I can't help being clumsy. Always in a hurry.
What are you up to, Joe?
Shush. Get the dress out, Megan. I'll spill tea over the rest of it, and you can go to parties in a tea-colored gown.
It's not just the tea stain, it's the torn hem, torn and mended in 3 places, and a seam giving out at the back.
Don't peek, Amy.
Not to mention the patched cuffs.
Oh, pretend that you're a poor foreigner who's just flown in from a storm. Or a gypsy. Or a spy under orders to attend parties. It's the only way I'd ever go, under orders.
What's wrong with parties?
Amy, don't get her started.
People ask you to dance is what?
Boy!
Yes, unless you happen to be a boy yourself, which solves the whole thing. Because then you can stand with your back to the wall and frown down on everything.
Which is what you do anyway.
Do not.
You do, don't you, Joe?
Well, any minute some person can step up and ask you to dance, and you're hurt if they don't, and disgusted if they do. And then you're out there on the floor and they're trampling all over the hem of your dress. Amy, what's that on your nose?
You know what it is.
Don't you mean trampling over their feet?
All right, fine, I'm not the greatest dancer. It's a clothespin. If you're going to pin it up there in the breeze, you may as well wash a handkerchief and hang it.
Well, if you can't dance at a party, Joe, at least you could flirt.
Flirt? Meg, you don't mean that, because if you're going to flirt, then I have to go to all the parties and stop you. You dance with the person and people start thinking things and saying things. You flirt and those things might as well be true. Before you know it, bad goes to worse and some young man comes calling.
Yes, and then?
Doesn't that hurt?
Maybe a little.
Amy, dear, I don't really think that will help alter the shape of your nose.
But I want it to be extinguished, not flat and stumpy.
Extinguish?
The female face should be in every feature delicate and extinguished.
You mean distinguished, Amy.
distinguished. And some young man comes calling and
tries to marry you. The very worst thing.
I don't see why it's the very worst thing.
Because then you have to mind your cooking and your sewing and be sweet and pretty in every feature, extinguished. And your adventures are over and your liberty is finished and you might as well be dead.
I know. Sorry, Joe.
But Marmy married Papa.
Well, that's different. They're our mother and father.
Amy, you know she can't really discuss this. Don't worry, Joe. If I have to look ragged at a party, I'd really just rather stay home.
Shoo, Beth. I'll let you see in a minute.
I wish I could stay at home when I have nothing nice to wear. But I must go every day to school.
School is not a party, and yes, you must.
We're meant to go out and see the world, Amy. I only mean it's good to be home at Christmas. The world is full of places and fascinating people. So what's the point in sitting home every day?
Nobody sits at home but me.
Oh, I didn't mean you, Bethy.
Do you think you'd like to try school again, dear?
Well, No. I simply can't bear so many faces.
Well, you aren't lazy, Beth. You're bashful. And you work very hard. It's hard as Meg or I do. You play the piano, which is truly beyond me. You play wonderfully well, and that takes you to other places, doesn't it? You and I go to all the good places. To the halls of legend in the days of yore. Oh, or to Beowulf in the mead hall.
The bloodthirsty Glenfield.
Yes. Or, to fairylands. I'm writing you another story, and when this one is finished, we'll have a whole book. The story begins...
Long ago, far away in a distant land.
That's right. And one of these days, Bethy, I intend to take you on an actual adventure. Not in a book or in music, but a real pack-up-and-go journey far away.
Do you really mean it, Joe?
Yes. I'll take all of you. Now. How's this?
A Christmas present.
Who's it for?
Your bird-to-be presents.
It's for me, isn't it?
Amy.
Well, I'm the youngest.
Where did you get it, Joe?
I bought it.
With what money?
The only money I had.
Your Christmas dollar?
Your Christmas doll. You were supposed to use that on yourself.
I did. I spent it to please myself.
Well, it's for me then.
I don't believe it's for any of us.
Not for anyone in this room because you wouldn't want to make another person jealous.
It's not for Aunt Marge.
Horrors, no.
I've guessed who it's for.
So have I.
It's not for that new boy, is it?
Old Miss Lawrence's grandson. I know you like to watch him ride his horse.
I would like to meet him, yes, but I'd hardly give a present to a boy that I haven't met.
You're guessing too far afield. It's for Mother.
Yes, it's for Marmy. I figured that I'd make me the happiest. We know Christmas isn't only plum pudding, and we ought to show her that we know it. So, let's get cracking. There is our Christmas play to rehearse, and there's carols to sing, and now there's one present for Marmy.
2. I bought her a pair of gloves.
You did? Well, there's a good fellow.
And I bought her handkerchiefs.
Bravo, Beth.
And I kept my dollar.
That's all right, Amy. You can keep it. It's yours to keep.
It's just, I haven't thought how to spend it yet. I thought perhaps I bought some favors drawing pencils, because if I'm ever to be an artist, I must have the pencils. If I'm too young for parties, at least I have drawing pencils. You have no idea how boring it is to be made at home while you guys are off to parties. It really is excruciating.
Excruciating?
Thank you, Beth.
It's yours to keep or spend.
What is that glorious smell from the kitchen? Oh, it must be the pudding. Oh, Hannah, how's the pudding?
Chef Joe.
I'm hungry. Oh, rehearsal. Rehearsal. The Witch's Curse, an operatic tragedy. Or rather, that is to say, a Christmas opera.
What has Christmas to do with it?
I'll have to work that in.
Hannah, how's the pudding?
You saw everything that went into it, dear.
It couldn't just be that. It smells too delicious.
It's what we have, thanks be to God.
Hannah, could you come watch our rehearsal? The fainting scene is not right. When Amy faints, it's supposed to be shocking. A great lady has fainted and all that. And so, a bell sounds and the curtains fly apart. Act 2, the gloomy castle here, the forbidding tower there. The beautiful Zara stands in the tower. Scene 2. Zara. Beautiful Zara. Hey,
Yeah.
you stand here. Remember, by now you have already descended the tower.
I'd love to help, girls. I really would, but I have to watch the pudding. It's all we have, so I want it to be perfect.
How soon will we eat it?
Heavens, not till evening. Now you stay out of the kitchen, Amy.
Don't worry, Hannah. She's needed here. Now, put your mind to fainting, Amy.
Oh, Zara, beautiful Zara. I give you one final chance, or you die.
I love you, Rodrigo.
I'm not Rodrigo, I'm Hugo.
Are you the hero or the villain?
Well, which do you think? I'm pointing a pistol at you. Amy, we have to perform this tonight. Aren't you at all acquainted with the story?
I know my lines.
Well, speak them, then.
All right. Let me get set. Here I go. I'm fainting.
You can't just faint into a chair. You have to just drop, or it's not fainting. Look here, do it this way. You clasp your hands so, and this is your line, Amy. Rodrigo, save me, save me! Blech.
She sounds as though someone is sticking her with pins.
Amy, are you seriously trying?
Yes, I'm trying, and you're not so brilliant either. You don't look like Hugo the villain.
Well, wait till I put on the big red boots. And I think, shing,
The glint of my sword will impress you.
You sound like you got a frog in your neck, and I don't want to rehearse anymore.
A frog in her throat, Amy.
I don't want to rehearse anymore. We've been rehearsing this play for a month, and it's become tiresome.
is that so?
Yes, that's so. I'm nearly bored to death with your stupid old play, even if you did write it.
Amy, a play can't be any good unless it's properly rehearsed.
It's too late. When the audience laughs at you, Amy, just don't blame me.
Marmy and Hannah won't laugh. They'll say I'm afraid.
Oh, they will too, and you'll be satisfied. I see right through you, Amy. You're as transparent as glass.
You do not know my thoughts.
Oh, don't I? Marmy and Hannah will tell me I'm pretty, and that's all you want out of life. Christopher Columbus.
It's not, and don't swear.
I'll swear if I like, and what's more,
Don't, it's so boyish.
that's why I do it. You know where I belong? With Father at the war. I'd disguise myself in a uniform and go to battle like any soldier.
Well, go if you must. You have the boots.
Don't tempt her, Amy.
Yes, and wouldn't I fight fiercely? I'd fight and die if I had to.
Say that, Joe.
It's just talk, Bethy. But I won't be an old pope forever.
An old poke?
A fellow with nothing to do but knit.
You aren't a fellow.
And if I say so.
I detest rude, unladylike girl.
And I hate niminy, piminy, chits.
Now, Joe and Amy.
Where are you going?
I have an errand.
You can't be going now. We can't have you gone when the celebration is starting.
Really, girls, you're both to blame. And as much as I hate to lecture,
How am I to blame?
well, sometimes you are entirely too prissy for your own good. You'll end up as a goose if you don't take care. Your manners are nice when you don't try to be elegant.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
And how is Joe to blame?
Don't you have an errand?
Yes.
Then you best be on your way.
Very well, I'm going.
Come back directly. It won't be a long lecture. I know exactly what Meg will say.
Now then, Joe.
Go ahead. I'm ready for you this time.
You don't have to tell her. She knows.
Well, I must. It's time you left off boyish tricks. Aren't you old enough, Josephine?
Josephine?
You best not call her Josephine. Aunt March calls her Josephine. I don't think she'll ever answer to Josephine.
Thank you, Beth. Now that you're tall, Joe, now that you're tall and turn up your hair, you must realize that you are a lady.
I'm not! And if turning up my hair makes me one, then... There!
Honestly, Joe.
In the beginning, you're just a young thing. Just another young creature of the universe, and you hardly know you're a girl. You're so busy learning to walk and run and ride if there's a horse handy.
Or limb of a tree if there's no horse.
That's right, Bethy.
Beth, you're not helping.
And then they tell you, not that you're a lady, but that you're grown and that you must be fragile so that someone will pick you up and claim you for his own, like a doll from a toy shop shelf.
Well, perhaps, but what else can you do unless you want to stay at home all your life?
Make my own living.
Well, if you're one of those women who make their own way.
Living, I said.
You'll work dreadfully hard.
I look forward to it. I can't help thinking of a boy's life, of all they get to do. At least I can do just as much as I'm allowed. I wonder what that Lawrence boy is doing at the moment.
Preparing for Christmas alone with his grandmother.
That does sound a bit lonely. I guess I wouldn't change places with him tonight. I wish we could meet him.
Well, you can't. He's rich and we're poor, so there's no proper way to meet.
No proper way, no.
Joe.
Look, here's Marmee. Strike up, Beth. Stroke the fire, Meg.
I'll put her slippers on fire.
No, leave that to me. Oh, she's home. She's home.
Hurrah, she's home. Merry Christmas, Marmee.
3 cheers and hallelujah.
Let me take your cloak.
Glad to find you so merry, my girl.
Happy Christmas, Mother March. I'll serve the pudding up.
You sit here.
Not my birthday.
No.
Whatever you say.
You'll see.
Huh. Where are my slippers?
Just you wait.
Where's Amy?
She's on some mysterious errand.
Oh. Here I am! Merry Christmas, Marmee! Merry Christmas.
Now,
Oh? What's all this?
open that first. You need them.
Slippers! New slippers!
First rate, army issue.
Joe, dear, thank you. And from May?
Gloves.
Lovely! Children, how did you manage this? Did you by any chance?
You know what we did?
You each spent your Christmas dollar on a gift for me? Oh. And from Beth, handkerchiefs.
I had them myself, but the stitching was a little crooked.
But done with your own 2 hands. And from Amy?
You'll see it's the large bottle of cologne, not the small one. Though I was terribly tempted to buy a box of Faber's drawing pencils for my own self. But instead, here, I've gifted all of my money in luck. It's the biggest one of them all.
Oh, really?
Now, Amy.
And I'm truly trying not to be selfish anymore.
We're coming, Hannah. Thank you, Amy. You've all been so very generous. Shall we go to supper?
And here we are.
Hurrah for Hannah.
Hurrah for pudding! And we have hot tea and cream.
Before we sit down, girls, there's something weighing on my mind that I must tell you. You know the Hummel family? Mrs. Hummel and her 5 children just around the corner? Well, I stopped in on my way home, only to find all 6 of them, including the newborn baby, huddled into one bed to keep from freezing. For they have no fire. There doesn't seem to be any food there either.
Well, I'm glad you told us before we began eating.
Yes, we'll give them our supper.
Our whole supper?
Oh, Mother March. On Christmas Eve?
I know, Hannah. But they have nothing.
May I help bring supper to them?
Yes, we will go.
All right. I'll carry the pudding.
Yes, and firewood. We'll take the stack of firewood that I chopped this afternoon.
Let me push the wheelbarrow.
Can you manage it, Beth?
I'll help you.
Capital, Marmee, because if you and the little girls take supper to the Hummels, then that will leave me and Meg to set up for the play.
Play? What play?
We're putting on a Christmas play for you, Marmee.
And we can have biscuits and more tea after the play.
And what might the play be about?
Don't tell her a word of it.
Don't tell her it's the plot, Beth. Promise, Amy. I'll not reveal a word.
Look, it's the Lawrence boy.
Joe, come help me here.
we have box seats?
And Beth is playing the overture.
Yes, I am.
There is a lady named Beautiful Zara. I love her so much, I would kill or I'd die. She loves a fellow who's called Rodrigo. The witch's curse on Rodrigo I cry. Curse Rodrigo! Curse Rodrigo!
Who is invoking the witch's curse?
I, Hugo, the villain.
Oh, you. What is it this time?
I would like some poison.
What? Poison again? You are always asking for poison.
Give me a poison to kill Rodrigo. And a potion. A love potion to make Zara love me.
You aren't usually polite, Hugo. You must be serious this time.
Yes, I am. I have finally found love. Do you dare thwart me?
Not directly, not for the moment. Ho, minion! Hither I come from my fairy home, afar in the silver moon. Take the magic spell and use it well, or its powers will vanish soon. A potion and a poison. I hate wicked Hugo. I spit in his eye. Hugo shall take his own poison and die.
They call me Rodrigo. And may I present the beautiful Zara.
Rodrigo, Rodrigo.
No, don't try to sing, Amy. You know you can't sing.
Rodrigo, Rodrigo, you know I can't sing.
Yes, and? What else would you like to say?
Nothing comes to mind at the moment.
I must leave the rest of the scene up to your interpretation. Intermission, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't Amy pretty?
Yes, and Jo is so good in both of her parts. You hardly know she's the same person. But I want to sing! Aw.
It's just a masterpiece. A masterpiece.
You can't. Just say your lines.
Isn't it, though? You get to sing.
We're starting.
Listen to this. Amy's going to sing. Well, Amy made Jo let her sing.
Carry on, Amy. All the way to the top.
This doesn't feel very steady, Jo.
On stage. Everyone can hear you.
Rodrigo, my hero.
Zara, beloved.
Rodrigo, my hero.
Yes?
Someone's at the door.
Who could that be?
Mother, let me go.
Thank you, Hannah.
What is the matter out in the audience?
Sorry, Jo. Please proceed.
Well, what are you doing anyway, locked up there in that tower? Is it that your father has locked you up there to keep you away from me because I don't have enough money to marry you? Is that the reason?
Yes. Yes. That's the reason.
Then shall we run away together?
Rodrigo, my hero.
I'll take that for your answer.
No! Where do you think you are going? And you blackguard! You penniless rogue! You knave!
Don Pedro, my father. I told you so, I told you so.
Oh, this is a sorry performance.
Act as if it were all right, Jo.
Wonderful. You say what's next.
You, Rodrigo, listen. I have lived low these many years. A weary life. A sorry life. For hours and seasons and years.
A weary, sorry lie.
Speech out of nowhere, Meg.
Stay in character, Joe.
Look who's here. The end.
Oh. Mrs. Lawrence, our old friend.
Please forgive the intrusion, Mrs. March. I heard you gave your supper to the poor, so I wonder if you might permit us to share?
Oh my. Oh, how splendid of you. Children, this is Mrs. Lawrence. Father's friend, as you know, who lives just across the way and young Mr. Lawrence, I believe.
Oh, yes, my grandson and his tutor, Mr. Brooke. I do admire your boots, Miss March.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, but I'm not Miss March. I'm only Joe.
Well, I'm not Mr. Lawrence. I'm only Lori.
Lori Lawrence?
What an odd name.
My first name is Theodore, but I don't like it. Too stuffy. And this is Brooke.
And who might you be?
Margaret.
Margaret.
Just plain Meg. Please call her Meg. And let's be ourselves. I did so hope that we'd have an excuse to meet you.
So pleased to meet you, Margaret.
Thank you. This is Amy.
Losing you to college soon? I see you pegging away at your books.
Oh, not for a year or two. I'm only 15.
So am I. And I'm glad that you won't be rushing off, now that we've met.
Oh, why we had to. You all seem so jolly. Couldn't stay away forever.
Wouldn't it be capital to have you for a brother? I wager we'd have real adventures. Don't you wish that you were at the war?
Of course. Look, Joe, real minced meat. Look, real actual smoked chicken. Oh my. Dear Mrs. Lawrence, how can I thank you?
Well, let me see. As it happens, I like music.
Beth, listen to this.
I certainly do love music, and sometimes I hear someone in this house play when I sit at my window. Whoever is playing, I do so like to hear her.
She's a bit bashful.
You play beautifully.
Well, enough for hymns and carols, but I'm afraid the old piano won't stay in tune.
Won't it now?
I hate my name too. So sentimental. I wish everyone would just say Joe instead of Josephine. My Aunt March, for instance. Josephine! Josephine! How do you get everyone to call you Lori and not Theodore?
They call me Theodore? I thrash him.
Well, I don't suppose that I can thrash Aunt March.
Merry Christmas!
Good evening, everyone. And yes, Merry Christmas. Aunt March! What a surprise! I heard you had no gifts, and so well, I see. There's apparently no special need. You seem to do quite well on your own. I gather you have no need of help from relations?
Aunt Marge. Our kind neighbor, Mrs. Lawrence.
Yes, we are well acquainted. Charmed as always. Georgetta.
Jane.
Beth was just telling us how she likes to play the piano.
Yes, I know all of that.
No, but she plays with real feeling.
You climb trees, don't you?
Don't ask her that.
Yes.
Don't tell him.
Oh, hush, Amy. If you want a real lady, there she is. You ride horses, don't you?
Oh, you know I do.
Josephine, come here to me. Whatever are you wearing? Is that what you call your Christmas best?
Georgetta, you must sing for your supper. Beth?
and tell me everything.
Well, I delivered Fair Meg to the mansion door.
And then?
That's all.
No, how did she look?
The same as she looked when we left here an hour ago.
No, really, how was she?
I say, Amy, isn't Joe at home?
Lord, please, we're discussing Meg.
Quite right. Sorry. What were we saying?
So, how did she look? Did she fit in with the other girls?
Yes, I think they found her quite satisfactory.
And they hugged her and kissed her and screamed over her dress and gloves.
Oh, all that and more.
Good. I'm glad that I wasn't there.
Oh, honestly, Joe, you have no respect for anything important.
Why didn't you stay?
Well, I knew you were here, so I came back.
You felt sorry for me?
No, I should say not.
Well, I was invited, but I declined. I don't much like fancy social occasions.
Fine with me. I came back because I felt like a visit with you.
Very well.
Come along, Teddy.
Teddy.
May I call you that? Theodore is too much, but I like Teddy, and I think it suits you.
Call me Teddy. So, this is your secret hideaway. May I really come in?
Well, usually no one is allowed in here but me. But yes, you may. I call it my garret and pretend that I'm a brilliant writer, and that I live here at the top of the house midst a bustling city.
All alone?
What of it?
Going to show me a story?
I don't think so.
I'll wager you are a brilliant writer.
Time will tell, but not today.
Well, this is capital. To have the whole annex to yourself.
Yes. I'm not alone, actually. There's Scrabble.
Scrabble? Who or what is Scrabble?
Oh, quite intelligent. Excellent listener. A rat. There he is behind your foot. Oh. Bye, Scrabble. Gone again. I don't believe he exists at all. He does. I read him all my stories.
Should I be jealous?
No.
You know, some people have a muse or an angel. Leave it to Joe March to have a rat.
I do like you. Forgive me for being cranky. I'm writing a book of fairy tales, and I'm working on the last story, but it won't seem to come out right. I'm afraid I've been lazy and restless since Christmas. We all have, though try to be good.
You say you're cranky, lazy, and restless? That won't do. What you need is real wickedness. I say you should smoke cigars.
You're wrong, Teddy. My word, no one speaks to me as you do.
Good.
No one dares.
I think I'm about to be sent home.
Yes, you are, because I want to write.
All right, but first, I want to show you something. Come to the window. What do you see?
A birdhouse?
Well, it was a purple martin house, but I cleaned it out for a post office. There's a cubbyhole for each of us. For Meg, Amy, Beth, and for me and for you. So if we can't see each other constantly, at least we can exchange letters.
Oh, splendid. It's positively literary. Now get out of here so I can write you a letter.
When is Meg coming home?
You asked me that about a half an hour ago, darling. Do you remember what I said?
Meg isn't to be home until tomorrow.
That's right.
It feels like forever.
It's only a weekend.
And the good fairy said, I won't leave you money or pretty dresses, but I will leave you the spirit to seek your own fortune from your own endeavors. And signed, Joe March. There. That's done. All done, Scrabble. The whole thing. Scrabble. Scrabble. Show yourself. All right, don't show yourself, but look here, Scrabble. This little book is all done and nice, and nobody is going to chew on it. I don't need any bite marks on the binder. Listen, everyone. I've finished my book of fairy tales.
Why, congratulations, Joe.
It's fine, Lori. Really. I was just playing make-believe.
Make believe.
Yes, it's all it was. You're free to go home.
Oh, look, here's Meg.
Right, you're home, you're home. But you weren't supposed to be here tonight. You're supposed to be at your party.
Her ladyship, delivered to you from the jaws of worldly vice.
Oh, Meg, I missed you awfully.
I was only gone for a day and a night, Amy.
Home early, Meg?
Yes, I've had a beastly time.
Oh, now, Meg, I can't believe that was a beastly time you were having, or you should have seen her at the party.
Lori.
She bats her eyes, she curtsies, she fans her low-cut gown.
Meg doesn't own a low-cut gown.
And what was that sparkly stuff in that glass, Meg? Oh, ginger ale, my dear fellow, nothing but ginger ale. Then may I have a sip? Oh, no, better not.
Hush up, Lori. You're giving us a worry.
Oh, no, I assure you, I'm all admiration.
Well, how was the party, Meg?
Actually, it was very nice. You might even say perfect.
Oh, every luxury. A 12-piece orchestra, crystal, caviar.
It was beautiful. The food was divine.
And the dancing. Did you realize that Meg knows how to do all the dances? Even the wild ones.
I danced when I was asked. Why, you even asked me yourself. And you hardly need a teacher. You dance expertly, so why shouldn't I?
Here.
What would you like to have seen, Lori? Did you want me to stand in a dowdy frock with my back to the corner, peeking out at the festivities? That's it. Meg, the freak from the poor, eccentric, bookish family.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. In fact, I'm terribly glad to be home.
No, I'm the one who's sorry. Forgive me for teasing, Meg. You did look lovely, even if you weren't quite yourself. I think I'll push off. Grandmother expects me for tea or something.
It's all right, Lori. Really. Thank you for fetching me home.
Good night, then.
Good night, Lori.
Oh, Joe, check the post office tomorrow. There'll be something there for you.
Meg, are you ashamed of
I
us?
didn't mean that. Marmy, I want to fess up. It's all true, what Lori told you. I romped, I flirted, I drank champagne.
You flirted? We discussed flirting. We said no flirting.
I let them dress me up in borrowed frippery.
You wore a low-cut gown?
Yes, I did.
Really?
Amy, please.
But then, standing at the punch bowl in my borrowed gown, I started to feel peculiar. I couldn't remember quite who I was, and when the gossip began, I wished for nothing more than to be home. I'm sorry for the gossip, Mother, but I didn't invent it. I think I best tell you what they said and get it off my mind. They think that you have what they call plans for us and Lori because he has money, and that you want us to know Lori so that he'll marry us. I mean, one of us. How peculiar.
That's not peculiar. That's ridiculous. You haven't got any plans for us, Marmee. That's what they say in society. Oh, wait till I tell Laurie, won't he shout?
I'd rather you didn't tell Lori, Joe. Really, have you no pride?
I'd imagine I do.
Of course she won't tell.
We'll just marry him, won't we? And we'll march on to our cooking and our sewing, and adventure will be finished, and liberty will be at an end.
Who on earth are you quoting?
Joe March.
I see. Listen, Meg. Shall I tell you who you are?
Please do.
You are a fine young girl, from a family not rich nor inclined to follow fashion. But you'll be your own woman soon. And, of course, you'll have to satisfy your curiosities about the world.
Does she have to do it in a low-cut gown? Christopher Columbus.
Well, perhaps not. Although I cannot approve of low-cut gowns, I don't see any serious harm done. And as it happens, Joe, I do have plans for my girls. Would you all like to hear them?
Yes, please tell.
I want my girls to be, let me see, accomplished, good, to have a happy youth, and to be well and wisely married.
Or to be splendid old maids.
That's right, Joe. In either way, to be cherished and admired, to be ready for duty and capable of joy. My dear girls, I am ambitious for you, but not for you to make a dash in the world by merely marrying rich men. Beth, shall we see about tea?
Meg, did you really flirt?
I tried. I don't know if I succeeded.
You won't get silly on me, will you? You won't go all stupid and blank and pine at the window for the young men and forget who you are? Forget me?
No, Joe.
Promise?
I think so.
Promise?
I think so.
Say yes. Say definitely yes. Well, oh.
Yes.
Meg, listen. A special invitation from the post. Teddy, how jolly. Oh, now here is my kind of social occasion.
You didn't shout, Joe. We're standing right under your neck.
Under her nose, Amy. For heaven's sake, what is it, Joe?
Well, it's only for me and Meg.
So, I want to hear.
Suit yourself. Listen, Meg. Laurie is inviting us to the theater this very afternoon to see The Hall of the Mountain King. Listen, on my way to fetch you, won't let you off at any price. I've already asked your mother, so nobody shall worry. In a tearing hurry, yours ever, Laurie.
Whatever shall we wear?
Well, where would you have on? We aren't the show, we're the audience.
Well, since it's the matinee.
Are you just going to leave poor old Beth and me at home while you guys are off at your play?
I want to be at home. Old Mrs. Lawrence sent over a new piece for the piano.
Oh, you must let me come. Beth will be fussing over the piano, repeating and repeating, and I haven't got anything to do, and I'll be oh so lonely.
Well, we can't, dear, because you weren't invited.
You can't go, Amy, so don't be a baby and whine about it. Go next time.
I've got my brag money. Laurie will let me go when he sees how much I want it.
Suppose we take her. I don't think Mother would mind if we bundled her up well.
If she goes, then I shan't. And if I don't go, then Laurie won't like it. And it would be terribly rude after he only invited us to go and drag Amy in. I should think she'd hate to poke herself where she isn't wanted.
Meg wants me.
Our seats are reserved, and you can't be off sitting somewhere alone in the theater, can you? We can't allow Laurie to give her his seat, Meg. It isn't proper.
When did you care about anything proper?
Laurie's at the door, Meg. Fetch your gloves if you're going to wear them.
You must wear your gloves too, Joe.
Oh no, look, I spilled lemonade on mine and now both of them are spoiled. This is dastardly, Meg.
Here, quick. Take my good glove and wear it, and hold your bad one crumpled in your other hand. And I'll do the same. There, that's fashionable, I hope.
It's a total fraud.
Perfect, because we're going to the theater.
Right.
What girls?
We're coming, Teddy!
I shall go! I've got my money. Lori hasn't got anything to do with it.
Meg.
Not this time, dear.
I shall go!
Haven't got time for this.
You regret this, Joe Marcy, if you won't!
Fiddlesticks, Amy.
Amy, is that you?
Yes?
Ugh, this horrid piano. That sound right to you?
It sounds fine to me.
No, it doesn't.
Well, aren't you the crosshatch?
Sorry. You don't look so right yourself.
Here's my Beth, here's my Amy. Huh. The house seems a bit lonely this afternoon. Beth, Amy, shall we have our tea early? No, I'm not hungry.
I ought to stay here. I've almost got it.
Well then, I'll go into the village on errands.
On second thought, Marmee, may I come with you?
Of course.
That is, Amy, unless you'd like me to stay. We could play checkers or bring out the old dolls.
No, it's okay. Well then, goodbye, Amy. Goodbye.
So bright out.
Yes, nothing like bright sun and fresh air. Amy, we're home. Beth, what is it?
Marmee, the piano!
Well, my word.
Was it brought by fairies? Do you think it's real?
Why don't you go and find out?
I'm afraid it might vanish.
Go ahead and play, Beth. There you go.
For the little musician from old Miss Lawrence. She's like a queen. But how can I thank her? I can't run over to her. Her house is enormous.
Unless I'm very much mistaken. She's hovering near the window, hoping to hear you play.
I must find some way to thank her.
What a treat. Oh, Teddy, you're a trump.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Brilliant costumes. I liked the explosion and the fire effect. Beth! My word, oh, just look.
Grandmother, I knew she'd been planning this. I must go congratulate her.
Let me come with you.
Good. See you in a bit, Joe. Skating.
Right.
Just listen. Come on, Beth.
Hello, Amy. Hello, Amy. Hello, Amy. Why won't anyone say hello to me?
Of course, dear, but this is so extraordinary.
Hello, Amy.
I'll play again in a little while. I can hardly bear it just now. I'm still getting used to the idea. Won't you tell us about the theater? We're dying to know.
Well, it was called The Hall of the Mountain King.
We know what it was called.
Oh, you've done something, Amy. I can see it in your face.
No, I haven't. You think you know everything. You think you rule the world.
Oh, you've dumped out my drawers, haven't you?
Well, first, the prince and princess come on in satin robes.
Yes?
And then some little elves, all in green.
It's not my drawers, it's not my hairbrush, and there's nothing wrong with my clothes. You didn't go up into the garret, did you, Amy?
You don't own the house.
She wouldn't dare!
Other people live here.
Amy, you didn't mess around in the garret, did you?
A prince and a princess and elves and what else?
Meg, Beth, did either of you take my little book? The fairy book that I just finished?
No, Joe. And after the prince and princess, the lights come up on a huge mountain.
You've got it, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Yes, you do. You know where it is then.
No, I don't.
Well, that's a lie.
I don't know where it is anymore.
Well, you know something about it.
I don't know where it is because it isn't anywhere.
Why not?
It's there.
What? Have you really burnt it? Oh, you wicked, wicked little girl! I just finished that little book and now I can never write in it again! And I will never forgive you for as long as I live!
Amy, how could you?
You saw how mean she was.
That's no excuse. She can be sorry for being mean, but you can't bring back her book.
Joe, your lovely book. I'm sure she's sorry.
Oh, right. I am sorry. I just floated the flame and it was too late. It just burnt
It
up.
doesn't matter if she's sorry.
Don't speak about me like I'm not in the room. Meg,
I won't comfort you, Amy.
what's all this?
Marmy, Joe and I went to the theater just as Lori invited us, you know. And Amy wanted to go too, but we couldn't let her. And Joe's so sharp about it. No, Amy is gone.
I threw Joe's book in the flame and it feels like I've murdered something, and I know I have, but all I could say is that I'm sorry.
I see. Well, Amy, you can't just write, I'm sorry to save yourself from blame.
But I am. I'm truly, terribly sorry.
Then you'll have to tell her properly. I think you know what I mean.
Yes. Joe, I'm very, very sorry.
I will never forgive you.
I understand.
Lori's coming to the door.
Don't ask me to forgive her. She doesn't deserve it.
Lori's come to take you skating, Joe.
I can't see him. Tell him what's happened and that I can't see anyone.
Go with Lori, dear. Tell him yourself. He'll understand. Get some fresh air. Don't think about it. Just go.
All right.
I shall go too.
Amy, do you really wish to make things worse?
She thinks she doesn't see me. She says I'm invisible. I want to ask her again.
Well, give Lori a moment to cheer her up first.
No, I'm going now.
Amy! Amy!
Lori? She'll be fine, I think. Let's get her straight to bed. She fell through the ice.
Marmee!
What's happened?
Amy, she was following behind us. She fell through the ice. Lori pulled her out.
She held on tight.
Amy?
Is she really all right?
Yes, dear. In fact, she wants out of bed already.
Lori did it all. I skated far ahead, though I knew she was behind us. And if she did die, it would be my fault. It's my dreadful temper.
I know, dear, I know.
You don't know. You can't guess how bad it is. I'm worried I'll do something horrible someday and spoil my life, and everyone will shun me.
Joe, dear, listen. You think your temper is the worst in the world? Mine used to be just like it.
Yours, Mother? Like, you're never angry.
I've been trying to cure it for 40 years and I've only nearly succeeded in controlling it. I am nearly angry every day of my life.
But you have some secret.
I don't think I do. Well, perhaps one, but it's a mystery.
What?
Just that. It's a mystery what makes people do as they do. Myself, sometimes so bitter, and at other times, able to control my temper. And when I contemplate that, it makes it easier to forgive.
You mean grace?
Yes, and life itself. It's mysterious what makes people do as they do. Things that annoy, petty things, and sometimes even terrible things. But I find that I must allow them. But I often don't understand.
Well, you understand one thing, that it's better not to explode.
Usually so. But I'll tell you what I do understand. I understand you, my darling.
You do, don't you? You really do.
Did you notice the bit of warmth in the breeze this afternoon? It must almost be spring. Here's Amy now.
Don't carry me. I can stand. Joe, I just want to say.
No, I'm sorry too.
Come in, ma'am. Look who I found on our doorstep. Uninvited, a rogue and a beggar. More like a queen, at least to this household.
How are you, Amy?
I'm really just fine.
Sit here, Mrs. Lawrence.
Oh, no. Please, sit down, dear girl. I only came to hear you play.
Miss Lawrence.
No, please don't say another word.
Dear Miss Lawrence.
I heard music from my window this afternoon, and then I heard nothing, so I became impatient and meddlesome, and here I am.
What would you like to hear, ma'am?
Anything that's not a hymn. Very nice. The human spirit does need more than hymns.
How kind you are.
Is that our Beth?
Did you just see that?
Knock me over with a feather.
Well, that was forward. I heard the littlest girl had an accident. Fell through the ice?
She's all right now.
Yes, but to fall through the ice, how frightening. Was there no one watching you?
Yes, it was dreadfully frightening. And the ice was sharp and jagged. And the water was as cold as Antarctica.
Really? Cold as Antarctica?
I believe that she's recovered.
Excuse the intrusion?
Mr. Brooke. Mr. Brooke. I knew someone was missing. Now we're all together.
Good evening, all. Good evening, Margaret.
Margaret?
Miss March.
Good evening, Mr. Brooke.
I do hate to interrupt the revelry, but I'm to deliver this telegram.
Oh, no.
Father?
Father is very sick at front. I must go to him at once.
Let me see. How shall we afford it?
Joe,
Be calm and let me think. No savings? No, I thought not. Nothing set aside for a rainy day.
I have to go and get something. Don't let Marmee depart until I've returned.
That's where you're going.
Don't follow me either. I have to go alone. Have you never heard of self-sufficiency?
But surely you aren't to worry about the money.
If there's any call for money, Jane, I should be the one.
Georgetta, surely at such a time.
At such a time, there is a family pride. They are a family, you realize, even if the resemblance is not apparent.
Aunt March, you are so kind.
At any rate, Mrs. March, I will accompany you. We will take my carriage to the station. Ma'am, if I may be excused in my duties, let me go instead.
Yes, Mrs. Lawrence, send Mr. Brooke with me. I'll feel so much safer that you're just across the way to keep an eye on my girls.
So be it.
Thank you, Mr. Brooke.
Well, perhaps I could take some of the girls with me. I live in a large home, as you know, and it's full of very fragile and valuable items.
Aunt March, you are most kind. Amy, if you tell them to be kind, they will be kind.
Or maybe some of the girls. 1 or 2.
Aunt March, you are so kind.
Or maybe just 1. A small, pretty one with lovely manners.
Aunt March, you are so kind. But, I fear it may cause jealousy and resentment if you were to take one of us and not take us all. And I would think it wouldn't be practical.
No, I fear not.
But your kindness, however, will never be forgotten.
Amy, you've outdone yourself.
Girls, where's Joe?
She's rushed out somewhere.
At a time like this?
Laurie's with her. He'll fetch her back.
Very well. Let's hold a family council. Handkerchiefs, under things, an extra shawl, and soap.
You won't be here, but you're always here, and I'm going to miss you. Mustn't give us a thought, Marmee. We'll carry on.
Don't follow me in unless you want to take the blame.
Never mind the blame. I've got to see the reaction. Maybe it makes a short offense.
No one is going to care once they get used to it.
Go on to your dear husband. I'll be mother.
I shall be man of the house.
Oh dear, have you done something rash? What's happened to your hair?
Sold it for $25. You'll need medicines and food and blankets and who knows. So you'll have expenses.
My dear Joe, I hope you won't regret this.
Regret it? No, never. I was wild to do something for father.
You feel like a Labrador puppy.
Heroism.
You cut off your hair? You sold your hair?
To the wig maker down the street. They cut it, snip, snip, and it was gone. You aren't angry with me?
No, dear.
I'd sooner let them cut off my head.
Well, it didn't hurt, Amy. And my head feels rather free.
But your hair was your only beauty.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Well, who's asking anyone? No, we have to get you to the train, Marmee.
Very well. Girls? You'll be well? You'll be good to each other?
We'll be gilded angels.
We will. We will.
Meg, was it my only beauty?
No.
Well, what else do I have?
You have nice hands, lovely eyes.
Oh, they always say that, don't they, when a girl's a little homely? Nice hands, nice eyes.
Joe, you have fine, strong features. And you have your mind. And this afternoon, he sat up in bed. Mommy says Father is sitting up in bed, Joe.
Good.
The danger's almost past, she says.
Good.
Stop sweeping that floor and have a cup of tea. You've swept that floor twice today.
You're right.
And I miss you all, but thank God and John Brooke for his constant assistance. John Brooke.
We have been gilded angels for over a month now. I've swept, dusted, scrubbed, I've darned a million socks, and I need a change.
Don't you think he's kind?
Who?
Mr. Brooke.
Well, why shouldn't he be kind?
He's done so much for us.
Yes, and?
That's all.
The chores really are all done, aren't they?
Very much so.
I need a change. I really do. I'm headed to the garret to work on my war story.
I thought you were writing a mystery.
I finished that. At the moment, I prefer soldiers. Battle plans, arrangements, strategies. Hi, Beth.
Hello, Bethy. You look tired. Where have you been all afternoon?
I'm off to run a war, Beth. If you'd like a visit, I'm up in my garret.
Oh, bless you.
Joe, the Hummel's baby has been sick, so me and Hannah took to them some porridge, and I feel not quite right.
Don't you? Well, let me look at you. I don't believe you have a fever.
Here's a cup of tea. Where's Hannah? Hannah? Well, she's with the doctor in his office.
Oh, is Hannah ill?
No, she'll be straight home from the doctor's.
You do seem a little off, Bethy. Would you like to curl up in my garret bed? I'd love to have you. I can scribble and you can drink tea.
Yes. I'm going to write, Mother. Any messages?
Won't you take a vacation, Meg?
But it's what I most want to do.
Don't tell her that I'm sick.
Oh, we won't. You're just tired.
And afterwards, I may write Mr. Brooke.
Do you mean Mr. John Brooke, my tutor? Is he the one you're writing to?
Lori!
At your service.
Don't eavesdrop.
Weren't you talking to me?
You know I wasn't.
Well, then pardon me. When you finish with your letters, you can leave them on the table. I'll take them to town when I go.
Wait. Thank you.
Not at all. Where's Jo?
In the garret for a change.
What? She back at her scribbling. Good.
Beth doesn't feel well.
Scribbling? Are you? Having fun?
I'm on holiday. It's self-proclaimed. Fun forever and no grumbling. At least till tomorrow. By the way, I saw you in town today.
And I saw you. What were you up to?
Secret?
I've got a secret myself.
Tell. You weren't playing billiards, were you?
I can't believe that you'd be so stuffy as to preach against billiards.
Well, I don't like to see you wasting your cleverness on something as empty as billiards.
Well, we aren't discussing billiards, we're discussing secrets. I'll tell you my secret if you tell me yours.
Is it a good one?
Oh, isn't it? All about people you know and such fun. Tell. You first.
You won't repeat it to anyone.
Not a word.
You won't tease me in private.
Never tease.
Yes, you do. You get everything you want out of people.
Thank you. Tell me your secret.
You know, the mystery story that I just finished? I left it with the editor of the paper.
Oh, Joe, how wonderful!
Nothing will come of it. He didn't say when he'd give his answer.
We'll come to something. I know it will. We'll see it in print, and won't we be proud of our author?
Well, now, your secret, Teddy.
I haven't finished yet. I have to hurrah! Hurrah!
No, your secret. Play fair, or you'll never get anything out of me again.
I know where Meg's glove is.
In her drawer.
No, it's not. Brooke has it. She dropped it in the carriage the day we went to the theater. The driver found it and brought it back to the house, and Brooke said he'd return it to Meg, but he never has.
Is the glove plain or lace?
Lace.
It's not Meg's glove, it's mine. It's spoiled. It's got a big splotch of lemonade on it.
Now, Meg's yours. What's the difference? He thinks it's Meg's, and he's got it in his pocket with him everywhere he goes. Isn't it romantic?
No.
What, you don't like it?
I think it's horrid. Meg!
Tell you promised.
I didn't promise.
Well, that was understood. I trusted you.
Well, I wish you hadn't told me. I'm disgusted.
Well, I thought you'd be pleased.
At the thought of someone coming to take Meg away,
You'll feel better when someone comes to take you.
I'd like to see anyone try.
What is it? What's the matter, Joe?
Hush, Lori. Keep your secrets to yourself. How do you feel, Becky?
You're sick, Beth?
No.
Perhaps you do have a bit of a fever.
Hannah, have you put Beth to bed yet? Here's medicine the doctor gave me.
She's upstairs with Joe in the garret. What's the medicine for, Hannah? Are you ill?
Why hasn't she told you? She's been exposed to scarlet fever.
Oh no. Oh my heavens!
You've had it, haven't you, Meg?
Yes, and so is Joe, but not Amy. Well, here's Amy now. Amy, you won't like this, but we have to get you out of the house. Joe, keep Beth there a moment. We need to get Amy out of the house.
I've got your medicine, dear.
What is it, everyone?
You haven't told anyone, Beth?
No! I didn't even think of exposing others, but Joe, you've had it. Lori, you've had scarlet fever too.
Yes, I have.
Is that it, Beth? Scarlet fever?
Aunt March will take Amy.
No, please don't send me away.
Oh, Amy, I'm sorry. She is pernicky, but you managed her well.
Yes, I understand her, but I don't want.
You must go right now, Amy.
Yes, I'll take Amy away in grandmother's carriage. Now, don't you worry, Amy. I'll come and take you for a ride each afternoon, and we can all send each other letters through our post office.
Goodbye, Beth. Goodbye, Amy.
Scarlet fever, Beth?
This afternoon. Oh, I can't tell it. The humble baby was so sick. And so I went to fetch the doctor. And while I was gone, the baby died. The baby died in my lap, Joe. But I won't get the fever. I can't get the fever, not with Mother
You
away.
needn't worry your mother. I've nursed others through the fever, Bethy, and we'll nurse you.
The baby was restless, Joe. And I was talking to her.
Were you?
Then she was quiet. I didn't want her to be quiet. I'll take the medicine, Joe. I won't have the fever.
You'll have whatever you have. Now, let's get you to bed. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Beth. You feeling any better? She's awake.
Any better?
Would you like me to read to you?
I wish I could see Amy. So do I, but if she comes to the house, it'll be too tempting and she'd have to come in. So we'll have to be content with letters.
Letters. One for you, and one for you, and one for me, and 3 for you.
Thank you.
The jig's almost up. We're in for a laugh now.
We could use a laugh. Oh, what are you plotting?
Oh, you'll soon see. Any minutes now. But in the meantime, here's something from Amy to all of us. Beth, you've impressed Amy with your fever, even if you haven't quite impressed me.
Teddy!
I mean it, Beth. I'm not impressed. I want you to give us a different show. Show me Prometheus stealing fire down from heaven. Show me Grendel with his arm torn off, tracking Beowulf down to the watery depths. That's better. A comedy now. Show me Cleopatra driving a herd of elephants.
Teddy, show us what you brought.
Well, what I have with me here is Amy's last will and testament. This is serious. She sees a life as tragic and in earnest. She knows that sometimes the good die young. So put on a serious face, you clown. Amy March, my last will and testament. I, being of sound and sanitary mind.
Sanitary?
Oh, yes. Do wish to dispose of all my earthly elements, should I meet an early and untimely end, as follows. Viz. to wit, namely, and there's an enormous list. Whoever would guess little Amy had so much property? You get her inkstand, Joe, although not the lid because you yourself lost it. Beth, you get her doll collection, although she acknowledges that some are broken.
Some. Most of them are broken.
And some are not quite sanitary.
Furthermore, should I die untimely, I wish to be remembered as a great artist, even if I have yet to produce a masterpiece. Remember what was in me.
There, she has me shedding a tear as if we won't have her to plague us for years to come.
Oh, wait, there's more. I, Amy March, affix my hand to this, my last will and testament. I hope all will be satisfied and not blame the dead.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, don't tell her that we laughed, Teddy. Tell her that we won't blame the dead.
Do you hear music?
Oh, yes, grandmother's playing by the open window for you, Beth. Shall I tell her you like it?
Oh, yes.
And when are you going to play for her again?
Not today.
Joe!
Aha!
Laurie.
No. It was all a mistake. No, I'll die of shame. He never sent me a letter. Joe, come here this instant!
Better go answer her.
The jig's up. We're in for a laugh now.
What did you do?
What is it?
Joe, how could you?
What do you mean? I've done nothing.
You've written this and Laurie helped you. How could you be so rude and mean?
Let me see. From Mr. Brooke. My dearest Margaret, I can no longer restrain my passion for you and must know my fate before I return. Your parents would consent if they knew that we adored one another.
Now we'll catch it. Wait and see, Beth.
Adored one another? How dare he speak this way?
He never did, as you well know. But it gets worse. I answered him.
You did? Oh, what did you say? You didn't promise him anything.
I said I was too young. What did you expect me to say? But he didn't know what I was talking about because he never sent any letter. Look, dear Margaret, I haven't written you any love letter at all. Someone is playing pranks on you. Your sister Jo, perhaps.
Let me see. Look at the handwriting. Look, it matches.
So?
Well, don't you recognize it?
It's mine. I did it. Now, Meg, don't you worry. It's not as bad as you think. It's only a prank.
Theodore Lawrence.
I would just like you both to tell me how I'll ever look Mr. Brooke in the face ever again.
Meg, I wrote both letters myself, and I intercepted your answer. Joe didn't hear a whisper of it, and Brooke doesn't know a thing about it.
Yes, but now you'll go and tell him and have the best laugh yet.
I'll never tell him to my dying day. Wild horses shan't drag it out of me. Look, I never intended that Brooke should hear of it at all.
You could be arrested for tampering with the mail. But I know how to make it worse. Theodore Lawrence, I am going to march you to your grandmother, and we'll see what she has to say when she hears how you've been meddling with young girls' hearts.
Well, you're serious, aren't you?
Aren't I? You will not be allowed to deceive, to make fools of us.
I thought the whole thing would be funny. I sort of felt like Cupid.
To insult? To turn us against one another? To encroach upon our honor?
Insult you. Encroach upon your honor.
Indeed, to trifle with our affections.
I would never trifle with your affections.
Cupid.
Well, I didn't make the entire thing up. There is the glove.
What?
My glove. Lori, I'm warning you, don't say another word.
Nope. Best not. I believe I'll just slink home.
I am sorry, Meg, though I had nothing to do with it.
Serves me right for being easy to fool. I thought those letters were real.
You did?
It was a pleasant diversion, like reading a story.
Pleasant?
Well, opposed to the sickness and being lonely for Mother. Listen, Joe. Laurie has joined his grandmother playing. He's trying to beg your pardon.
Of course, I forgive him. I always do.
How lovely. Do you think Beth can hear the music while she sleeps?
I hope she can.
Marmy, I'm so glad you're home.
I came the instant I got your telegram. Do you think she's any better, Meg?
Can't say. Listen to them play.
You'd think they'd be tired. She seems a bit more peaceful.
Marmy, I was so glad when I heard you were coming. We missed you terribly. I felt sure Beth would improve the minute you stepped in the door.
I hope so too, Meg. I'd like to think my love was that powerful. I wish your father could have come with me. He wanted so much to come with me.
When will he be well enough to travel?
Not for some time yet.
Let me, Meg. I'd do anything to make her well again.
So would we all, Joe. But it's out of our hands.
Yes.
Marmy, she's asleep. Maybe close our eyes a minute, Joe.
Yes, please do. I'm quite awake.
Joe?
Hi, Beth.
Hello, Joe.
Beth, oh, do you recognize me? Are you with us again?
Joe, I...
Please stay. I'll love you ever so much more than before. I promise. Just please stay. Don't go. I'd miss you too terribly.
Oh, Joe. And I'd miss...
Yes, what will you miss?
Oh, miss... the piano
and the sun from the trees.
Yes. Oh, you must think of what you will miss. You must fight.
I'm going to miss you, Joe.
Don't say that. Listen, Beth, I'm going to take your place. I'll do everything that you do, and you won't have to do a thing. Yes. I'll be stay-at-home daughter, and I'll care for mother and father, and keep house for them in their old age. And then it will be you and me. Oh, think of how nice that will be, Beth.
Joe, don't like the others.
But what about our journey? I promised to take you to lands far away, and I meant it.
I know you did, Joe. It's just I'm so tired and
There must be some place for you to get better. Some place with more sun, where we can be together.
there is a place, Joe. But I think I have to go alone.
Don't say that, Beth. Listen, I'll even put aside my wildness and my silly scribbling. I promise, Beth. I promise. Just please don't go tonight. Beth, stay. Beth, stay.
Someone is calling me.
Laurie and his grandmother are playing for you at the window. Do you hear? Goodbye, Beth. Goodbye. Mother? Meg? She's gone.
I've been practicing Beth's Christmas carol. It isn't that good, but Laurie's helping me.
Amy, do you know if Father prefers sweet potatoes or white potatoes?
Sweet potatoes.
Of course.
Father won't be home tonight. His letter said he'd arrive at Christmas.
I know, but I've already dusted all his books, cleaned his study, and look at this.
Father's pipe. It smells like his tobacco.
Isn't that a nice smell? Now let's see, what else to do?
Mr. Brooke.
Forgive me for barging in, Amy.
Mr. Brooke, is Father with you?
Oh, no, he sent me on ahead. I bring his love and my love and extreme sorrow over Beth.
Yes. Thank you. How can we thank you for everything you've done?
Is perhaps anyone else home?
Joe's home. Should I call her?
Oh, no, just tell them all I'm home and say that I'll call again this afternoon.
Your umbrella.
Who was that?
Mr. Brooke.
And Father?
No.
Mr. Brooks sent father. His father said Mr. Brooke got mad at him.
Did he ask for me?
No.
Did he say anything?
He said he brings his love.
And he said goodbye and went home?
Yes, but he forgot his umbrella.
Oh, drat it. I'll take it to him.
Just because Lori made up wild stories, you needn't dislike John.
Since when do we call him John?
Mother calls him John.
Yes, but she's mother. If you call him John, he'll go all romantical and start to carry on.
Nonsense.
Well, if he did carry on, what would you say to stop it?
Well, I would say that I'm too young and that he's very kind, but we must simply stay friends as before.
Good. That's cool and stiff enough.
And then I would walk with great dignity from the room. Mr. Brooke. Hello, Mr. Brooke.
Excuse me. Forgive me. I seem to have left my umbrella. Hello, Margaret.
Amy, there's something burning on the stove. In the kitchen.
Remember what you planned to say.
What do you plan to say?
Mother would like to see you. Oh, call her.
I don't believe your mother is at home.
Oh?
I saw her in the village.
Oh.
Are you afraid of me, Margaret?
No, of course not. Welcome home, Mr. Brooke. How could I be afraid of you when you've been so kind to us?
Margaret, while I was away, your mother often read your letters aloud to me.
Yes, she told me.
Wonderful letters, so full of home. I took the notion that while you were writing, you sometimes thought of me.
I'm sure I did. We're all so grateful to you, Mr. Brooke. I couldn't imagine how to thank you.
Shall I tell you how?
No, please don't.
I won't trouble you. I only want to know if you care for me a little bit, Meg.
I don't know.
I can wait, and you can choose to discover if you do.
I don't choose. I'm all flustered. Please go away and let me be.
What's all of this?
Aunt March. Hello, Aunt March.
I came to call on your father.
Father's not yet arrived home. I'm so surprised to see you.
Well, that's evident. And who was that?
That's Father's friend.
And what's father's friend saying to make you blush like a peony?
Mr. Brooke came to get his umbrella.
Mr. Brooke? That boy's tutor? Making a proposal? You hadn't gotten accepted him, child!
She'll hear you!
Do you mean to marry this Mr. Brooke? If you do, not one penny of my money goes to you.
I'll marry whom I please, Aunt March. You can spend your money on anyone you like.
Tidy-tidy. You'll be sorry when you've tried love and cottage and found it a failure. This Brooke is poor and has no rich relations, has he?
No, but he has many warm friends.
He knows you have rich relations. I suspect that's the secret of his liking.
Aunt March, how dare you? John is above such meanness. My John wouldn't marry for money any more than I would. We're willing to work and we need to wait. I'm not afraid of being poor. We're used to being poor and I don't mind it. I shall be with him and he loves me.
Well, I wash my hands off this whole affair. Don't expect anything from me when you're married. I'm done with you. With all of you forever.
Thank you for defending me. You do care for me a little bit.
I didn't know how much till she started insulting you.
So you won't send me away, but let me stay and be happy. May I?
Yes, John.
And shall we tell them at Christmas?
Oh, I don't think the secret will keep. Congratulate us, Sister Joe.
Oh no. Oh, Amy! Oh, God, somebody do something! John Brooke is acting dreadfully, and Meg likes it.
It's going to be a romantic Christmas. But seriously, Joe, you must be used to it by now. You're just grumbling out of habit.
Am I?
Put your book down. Yes, you are. We aren't little children anymore.
Lori, I don't like the look on your face. We're only 16.
Meg is 17.
Which is much too young for anything.
Look, there's something I must say, must ask you.
I have a suspicion what you're going to say. Teddy, please don't.
You must. We've got to have it out, Joe. And the sooner the better. For both of us.
Well, I don't intend to listen.
You must listen. Think of all we've meant to each other, you and I. We do everything together, Joe. Joe, I've loved you ever since I met you.
I love you too, Lori, of course, but not love with capital L.
Well, I mean love with a capital L. I've tried to show you, but you wouldn't let me.
I never meant to entangle you.
I want to be entangled.
But you know the views on
Marriage. I've heard it rumored that you're against it.
Well, best of luck then.
I know what you say. But girls are so strange, sometimes you never really know what they'll do. Look, I can't go on like this without a straight answer. So I must ask, will you, Joe?
Don't say it.
Marry me, Joe.
I can't say yes truly, so I won't say it at all. I'm happy as I am, and I love my liberty far too well. Not only that,
What? Say it all.
I promised Beth that I would stay home with her mother and father, and I wouldn't go off on my own.
Why, Joe? Why? You aren't made for
Well, I
that.
promised, Lori. And it's not only a promise that I made to Beth. I'll never marry.
You say that now. But there will come a time when you'll find somebody. And you'll love him tremendously. And you'll live and die for him. I know you will. It's your way. And I shall have to stand by and see it.
I doubt that. Very much. I will try my best, but you won't be reasonable. And it's selfish of you to keep teasing me for something that I can't give. I will never marry you. The sooner you believe it, the better. For both of us. So, there. Now we've had it out.
Where are you going, young man?
To the devil!
Just a moment here. What's the matter, Lori?
Joe! Sir.
Just let me shake your hand. I've been wanting to meet you, Lori.
Mr. March.
Girls,
I hear quite a fellow.
I'll leave you to your family, sir.
Only if you'll promise to return this evening and help us celebrate Christmas.
I'll do my best.
Oh, my heavens, Father! It's Father!
Hello, my dear Amy. Let's look at you, Meg.
You're home, you're home.
Shh. Where is she? My lieutenant? Guess who's home, Joe?
Father? Oh, Father! Oh, you look absolutely well.
And you look fierce and wonderful. Let me see what's left of your hair. Dear heart, thank you for the sacrifice.
I didn't mind. Army regulations.
Well, you paid for my medicines, you know. Now, how's my Joe?
I'm fine, really. How could I not be now that you're here?
There's something.
Well, it just seems that everyone is leaving. Beth is gone, and Meg's going. And now I've sent Laurie away. I can't help it, but I won't marry him, Father. I really can't.
No, perhaps not.
I'm just too young. That's all.
There's some other reason, I think. What's on my Joe's mind?
It's just, I always meant to do things, you know? I never meant to marry.
That's a good reason to say no for now. What things do you mean to do?
I'll sweep and work in the garden.
Yes, and?
And I'll iron the curtains, clean the carpets.
And what about adventures?
I could have Hannah teach me to cook.
What about artistic accomplishments?
I could put violets in the window box and train a rose bush over the garden gate.
What happened to writing?
Nothing. I don't care for it. It's childish.
Very strange. I don't know this young woman. Rather a drudge, I'd say. If I have the expression right, rather no poke.
Don't say that of me, Father. I can't help it.
What do you mean you can't help it? I believe you could do almost anything you set your mind to. Really, Joe, you're trying my patience.
No, I'm sorry. Please pay me no mind. I'll come around. You'll see. Just please pay me no attention.
Joe, forgive your old father. Something terrible is weighing you down. You really must tell me. Come, fess up.
It's simply... I told Beth, or I promised Beth that I'd stay home with you and Mother, and I wouldn't go off on my own, and that I'd leave off my wildness and my silly scribbling.
That's it. I see. And how did Beth respond to all these promises?
She was too weak to answer. I don't like to remember it.
Well, I'm going to answer for her. Mother and father will take care of each other. Birds were meant to fly the nest, and in a year or so, they'll fly too. Why, if I stayed home with my mother and father, would I be standing here now with my daughter, Joe?
No, I suppose not.
You're growing up. There's no stopping it. May as well go ahead. Beth would like to see you grow up. She loved you, your tenderness, but also your plans and ambitions. And as for your silly scribbling, why, Beth would call it writing, wouldn't she? She was always proud of your writing.
You're right. When I think of it, I do believe she'd want me to continue.
So go back to your writing again.
Yes, I will. I'll go on and I'll write whole stories and I'll be a writer.
Good. That's my Joe.
Now we're finally all together.
Dear nephew.
Yes, we are.
At long last.
All together.
I thought she was done with us forever. I just don't understand her.
No. Why? You must play now.
We all miss Beth very much, don't we? But it's nearly Christmas, and I'm going to ask family to leave off mourning. I think Beth would want us to celebrate.
I heard the oldest is getting married.
Why, yes. She's accepted this fine young man.
I don't imagine she has much to wear. I'd like to provide the trousseau, not to interfere anyway. In fact, I'd like to do it quite privately, between us two. I wouldn't want her to feel beholden.
Oh, really? Very kind of you.
Here's my boy. Have I told you the news? I'm sending him to the continent for a season. Yes, right before he goes to college. I think he ought to see Italy and France.
Teddy. Italy and France?
I thought she'd accepted. Girls are a mystery.
I don't know. She knows her own mind. Comment, March. Meg, John, shall we sing?
Thank you.